Hey everyone, my name's Steve, and today I'm really excited to show you Sequoia. Sequoia is a new CLI that can help publish your existing self-hosted blog to the Atmosphere, which is basically the app protocol using Standard.site lexicons. Might sound like a mouthful, but if you're kind of in this space, you probably know what we're talking about, and if you don't, I'll get to show you a little bit anyway. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and install the CLI, and so we can do that. I'll just go ahead and open up a new terminal here. And we'll do bun install global Sequoia CLI. It's already installed, so it's ready to go. We can make sure it's working just by running Sequoia. There we go. So we have the intro and all of our commands here. Now, there's a couple things we'll want to do to really demonstrate how this works, and that includes maybe starting up a blog from scratch, which is what we're going to do. But the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and authorize Sequoia. So if we run Sequoia auth, this is going to go ahead and ask for our handle. So I'm going to use sequoia.andromeda.social. And then our app password. If you don't have an app password, we have a link here where you can go ahead and create one. There we go. And it's all saved and stored, so we're ready to go. Now the next thing is probably go ahead and just start up a blog, which we can actually do very quickly thanks to frameworks like Astro. So let's go to my desktop here. I'm going to do bun create Astro at latest, my blog. It's going to go through our setup here, and we're just going to use the blog template, install dependencies, no need for Git repository. All right, so it is all set to go. So cd in my blog, and we'll just go ahead and open this up in our text editor. I'm using Zed. And a couple of things I want to point out is the general structure of most self-hosted blogs, and it'll be pretty important for as we start to set up Sequoia. So generally, you'll have a place where you keep all of your markdown content. For us in this project, it would be source content blog. We have all of our markdown posts, and these are the posts that we're going to turn into Standard.site documents. We're also going to have things like an asset directory where we have images that are used for open graph covers or the hero of the blog post, so something to keep in mind there. And we also have things like public. This is basically all of your public assets that are accessible at the root of your website domain. So things like you can get /favicon.svg, and that's going to also be important for some verification. So they're just some standard pieces, and that's how it all works together. So first thing I think we'll go ahead and do is just make sure this is deployed. We're going to use Cloudflare for this. So I'm going to just do bun run build. It's going to go ahead and build the blog here. And then I can just do bun x wrangler deploy and deploy this to an existing project I have. This is going to go ahead and upload all of our assets. And something else to point out too is when we built this project, we bun run build, it deployed this or created this dist folder. This is all of our assets that have been rendered, our HTML, etc. So another important thing to keep in mind. All right, so our blog is live. So if we actually go here, this is our basic blog. It's nothing too crazy. It's just a really basic setup, but it has all the examples of what a blog might have, and pretty straightforward. So one thing I'm going to go ahead and do is just go ahead and copy this URL here. And then we're going to go back into our project, and I'm going to go ahead and run a command. That's going to be Sequoia init, and this is going to basically initialize your project that you already have up and running. So do Sequoia init. And so we're going to go ahead and paste in the hosted URL of our blog here. And if you don't have that yet, you can wait, but it is recommended to go ahead and post it or deploy it somewhere first and then do this. And you'll kind of see why in a second. Then we're going to go ahead and say, where is our content? And for us, that's going to be source content blog. And then like we saw earlier, the assets, if you have any, that's going to be source assets. And then our public static directory. And this is going to be used for our publication verification. So we're going to do public. And then our build output directory, which for us is dist. Now it's going to ask for what is the URL path prefix for posts. So a lot of blogs might use /blog/post or /post. So for us, if we go to a blog post, you'll see here it's blog right here. So something important to keep in mind. So we can do /blog. And then we're going to go ahead and go into our front matter field mappings. So if you're familiar with most of these blog setups, you're going to have this stuff right here. This is called front matter. And you have things like the title, description, publish date, hero image, etc. And Sequoia is basically asking, do you have any changes from like maybe the defaults, which we'll see that we do here. The first one up is title. That's already the same. We just press enter. Description is the same. Now for the actual date that this was published, the Astroblog here uses pub date. So we want to put in pub date just so Sequoia remembers that. Same goes for cover images. So with the Standard.site document, you can have a cover image. And so right now we are using hero image for that. So do hero image. And we can also have set up for tags. We don't have any right now, so we'll just leave it as default. Now this next step is pretty important. This is basically going to ask if we want to create a new publication record or if we want to use an existing at protocol URI. So if we look at BDSLS, go to, let me see if I can find my user. This is sequoia.andromeda.social. There's no records here. There's no lexicons or anything. So we do need to go ahead and create this. So I'm going to hit create new publication. And now we're going to put in some information regarding what we call this. So this would be like the name of the blog and things like that. So I'll say my blog. And I can say a Sequoia test. And then if we want to have a path to an icon, we can do that. So I can do public/favicon.svg. And then we can decide if we want it to show up in a Discover feed or not. So we'll hit yes. All right, so it is all set to go. And let's take a look at one thing that it did for us. If we go into that public folder, you'll see that it created this .wellknown directory. And this is where we have our site.standard.publication record. This is our AT URI. And if we refresh this, you'll see that it created it for us here. So this is all the information regarding our blog. And this is what is specified if you go to Standard.site, this publication standard, this record. So in order to have a full setup, we need the publication, and then we need the documents as we start to create them. So we should be ready to go and actually start publishing. So let's do Sequoia publish, and we can do dry run. And what this will do is go ahead and show what Sequoia has found and what is going to publish if you run publish. So it's went ahead and went through our markdown folder, found all of these posts, and so if we're ready to publish them, we can go ahead and do it. So let's go ahead and clear it. I'm going to do Sequoia publish. There we go. And it went ahead and went through all of these posts, created the record, added our cover images, and uploaded those to our PDS as well. And everything is published. So if we actually go into our PDS, you'll see that we now have the Standard.site documents. And here are all of our posts that we've just published. And what's pretty cool about Sequoia is that it keeps track of what you've published or what has changed. So if you update a file and you need to update that post, it'll know that when you run publish, it's going to update it. And if it has nothing to update, it won't do anything. So if I do Sequoia publish now, it'll say it's found 5 posts, but they're all recorded. And there's a couple ways it keeps track of this, but one important way is that it's going to keep the @URI for that record in your front matter. It's just going to inject it in there. And you can use this for the next step, which is verifying your post. So everything is up on your PDS, but now we need to actually do the verification step for Standard.site. And if we go to Standard.site, it says there's 2 ways it does that. One is through there's the publication, and then there's the document. So the publication is already taken care of for us. If you saw earlier, it's in our public directory. So this little .wellknown site.standard.publication already taken care of. We don't have to worry about it. Now the next one is a little bit more complicated. The next one says we need to have these link tags in the head of our HTML for every post that has the @URI here. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. One way is to use this front matter here. And if you're really tech savvy, you can edit your static site generator or framework to include that @URI in your head tags, and it'll kind of automatically populate. And you don't have to do anything. You have full control over it. It's totally up to you. Now, if that is a little bit too technical for you, or maybe your framework doesn't give you that ability, Sequoia has a tool for you. It's going to be called Sequoia Inject. And when we run this, it's basically going to go through your dist folder and look for every HTML that's the blog post that we have a match for, and then go ahead and inject those tags for you. Pretty sweet. So it kind of takes care of it for you. Now to make sure we kind of do this right, first we're going to do is do run build This is going to go ahead and build our dist folder again, and it's going to include that .well-known. And then we'll do Sequoia inject again. So it's basically, we took all that built HTML and then injected it, and now it's ready to go. So if we go ahead and do bunx deploy again, this is going to update our website with all of our fresh information with those link tags and that well-known publication record. All right. So if we go back to our site here, you're not really going to be able to see much difference. Everything looks the same, but under the hood, we have all of those pieces that we needed. And we can go to a tool like Standard.site validator and post this. And this is basically going to look for those link tags and the .well-known record and make sure that it is all valid. So yeah, that is Sequoia in a nutshell. Definitely check it out at sequoia.pub. Give it a shot. There's a full set of documentation that shows how to do everything we've done here plus more. So if you have any questions, check it out. Please let me know. Would love to hear it. Thanks.